Hello, welcome to worship this week with Spirit in the Hills Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Drew Ingram, and I just want to welcome you to this time where we're going to read the gospel and share in a sermon together. This week, our gospel reading comes from Matthew chapter 14, and it's a text that we often refer to as the miracle of multiplication. When God's abundance is revealed and Jesus takes just a small bit of things, 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, not even enough for a handful of people to eat, and somehow more than 5,000 are fed. I'm glad that you have come here today to be fed and filled and nourished with the love of God that is abundant, where there's enough for you and for everyone, and still some left over. Thank you for joining us for this time of worship. We invite you to leave a comment on this video, to like it and share it with others, to follow us here on YouTube and on Facebook, so that we can continue to connect with you and to share in God's love with one another, to accompany you on your journey of faith. We're also live for a time of song and prayer every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. on facebook.com/spiritinthehills and on our website, spiritinthehills.org/live. And we would love for you to join us for that time of worship as well. But for now, here is the gospel according to St. Matthew and our sermon for today. This is the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew, and we invite you to respond, "Glory to you, O Lord." Now, when Jesus heard this, that John the Baptist had died, he withdrew from there in a boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the towns. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them and cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is now late. Send the crowds away so that they may go into the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said to them, "They need not go away. You give them something to eat." They replied, "We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he said, "Bring them here to me." Then he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the crowds. And all ate and were filled. And they looked up what was left over. They took up what was left over of the broken pieces, 12 baskets full. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, plus women and children. This is the gospel of the Lord. We respond, "Praise to you, O Christ." Our gospel story begins just as Jesus has learned the news of his cousin, John the Baptist. The one who baptized him, the one who he rejoiced when they met each other in the womb. Jesus is grieving. I wonder if you're grieving anything today, too. Perhaps it's a loss of the life of a loved one. Perhaps it's the loss of a certain way of life. I think we're all collectively grieving to some extent things that we had hoped would be different this day. Ways of life that seemed so normal that now we cannot engage in for the sake of love for our neighbors, so that life abundant might flourish. Jesus tries to get some time away, some time to rest, and it feels like he can't. People keep chasing after him, and it seems like they need something. They want to be near him. They want to hear the good words that he has to say. I think maybe this crowd might be grieving too. You see, a lot of the people who were followers of John the Baptist also follow Jesus. Remember, John was always pointing to the one who was to come, pointing to Jesus. So people who loved John the Baptist and resonated with his message, many of them also followed Jesus. Maybe they're grieving something too. Or maybe they're just hungry and they knew that this guy feeds people. Whatever the reason, the crowds follow Jesus, even as he seeks a time of respite, which he will get shortly after this. That's part of our gospel reading next week, begins with Jesus taking some time away. So one, it's not wrong to need to take some time away and to go searching, but maybe this text speaks to those times when we would seek some time away, but we can't quite get it. And here Jesus sits and has compassion for the crowds. He cures the ones who are sick. He teaches them. And when it comes time for them to eat, the disciples show up and say, hey, Jesus, all right, let's kind of disperse them. We came out here to get away from everybody. And they need to eat, so have them go buy their food. Here's where the story gets even a little more interesting. You see, Jesus says, no, you give them something to eat. Jesus does not expect them to provide their own food, but Jesus knows that there is an abundance that will feed them. And they say, Jesus, we've got nothing. We've got nothing. We've got 2 fish, and we've got 5 loaves. We've got nothing, Jesus. How do you expect us to give them something when we've got nothing? We can't do it. There's not enough. There's not enough for us, let alone others. Jesus takes their nothing, 2 fish, 5 loaves. Jesus takes their nothing and shows them that it's something. Jesus transforms their nothing into what is needed and more. You see, where we might see not enough, Jesus sees enough and then some. Enough that the broken pieces fill 12 baskets full of leftovers. There's more than when they started left at the end. Jesus takes what we have when it seems like nothing and gives us enough for you and me and for everyone to be full and there to still be more. I'm sitting here today and I have this set out and I want to share with you some of the message that I often share with our leadership at our council retreat. Because I think it's important and it's a message for you too. One, you're called to take part in this work, right? Jesus says, you give them something to eat. Sure, we could send them out to fend for themselves and to find what they need, but there's enough. You have enough. Jesus looks at the little that they have and says, watch what God can do with this. He takes it and blesses it and breaks it, and then it feeds thousands. Jesus takes what you have, even where you might see nothing, and says, this is enough. Watch what God can do with you, through you, because of you. You give them something to eat. You have enough. You have what it takes to nourish these people, to show them the love of God that is enough for you and for them. You have enough, and you have an important role in this. You give them something to eat, because you see, when we give to God what we have, even when it seems like nothing, like no way that it could be enough, when we give to God, God takes what we have, gives some back to us, and tells us to share with others. As we receive freely the grace and love of God, there is more than enough, and we pass it on out, and we're able to gather in even more than we were sharing with others. Because God's abundant love is enough. And because God's love multiplies, God's love creates something where there was nothing. After all, that's what happened at the beginning of creation. When there was nothing and formless void, God spoke and something came from nothing. You came, and you are here. And you can help others realize that they are not nothing, that what they have is enough. It's enough for them and for others, that they too are called to give others something to eat, to receive the free gift of God's grace and love, to know that it is enough, and to know that as they share it, they will receive even more than there has been. After all, that's how this multiplicative growth goes. God's love and the kingdom of heaven are growing exponentially, like a tiny mustard seed that soon takes over. Like yeast that leavens the whole loaf. Like 5 loaves and 2 fish that feed 5,000 men plus thousands of women and children. You have what it takes. Jesus has called you to this work. You are enough. There's enough to share freely with others, and then some. Even in a season of grief, even when it feels like things are empty, even when you've just got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and you're faced with a giant crowd, even when you want to say, I've got nothing, Jesus says, watch what I can do with nothing. That is good news. Thank you for joining us for this portion of worship. Again, we invite you to join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday, facebook.com/spiritinthehills and spiritinthehills.org/live. You can find us for a time of song and prayer and joint reflection. I invite you to share what you heard in this gospel and sermon today. What did you notice? What stood out to you? Ask a question that this text and sermon made you wonder about. Take some time and pause. Share those responses in the comments. Particularly, maybe think of this. What is something that you feel like isn't enough? What is something you have that you feel like isn't enough? If you feel up to it, share that in the comments, and know this. Because of God's grace, you are enough. You have enough. You are loved. Until we see each other again, I hope that you'll take the time to watch this, to comment, to like, to follow us on Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube, to share this with a friend or with anyone that you think needs to hear this message that what they have, even if it feels like nothing, is enough. Is enough to share love and life, to nourish people in body and soul because of the grace of God. And until we see each other again, grace and peace be with you.